Former US President Donald Trump is being hit with criminal charges. A grand jury in New York has voted to indict Trump following a probe into hush money paid to a porn star ahead of the 2016 presidential election. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office says it has contacted Trump's lawyers to arrange his surrender. Trump is running to regain the White House in 2024. He's the first former US president ever to face criminal charges. Now, Donald Trump's lawyers have vowed to fight any charges in court, and the former president himself has issued a statement in which he described himself as innocent. He also said, quote, "This is political persecution and election interference at the highest level in history." His statement continues, "I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden." Let's get the latest now from DW correspondent Michaela Kufner in Washington. Michaela, hi. New York prosecutors say they're working to coordinate Trump's surrender. What exactly is expected to happen there?
Well, we all remember that last week, Donald Trump expected that he would be arrested on a Tuesday and actually called for protests. Well, we actually expect this to now happen this coming week, potentially Tuesday, for him to see this arraignment, which means he has to come in. He would be fingerprinted. A mugshot, a photograph would be taken of him, the kind of stuff we know from criminal reporting here in the United States. And then it would be taken from there. We still don't know what exactly those charges entail, but we do understand that they are focusing in on how the money was dealt with, how there was a cover-up of what that hush money was actually used for. So this could be seen as more of an accounting error, because actually the payment of the hush money is not really something that would be attached to criminal charges here. And that means that Donald Trump, and we've heard this from his lawyers already, he's expected to travel from Florida to New York to actually then face this arraignment.
Michaela, what type of wider implications does this have, including on Donald Trump's own bid to retake the White House next year?
Well, first of all, this really is an earthquake. It is a legal earthquake, and it will touch, at the very least, on how firmly people believe in how independent the judiciary works. And in its most extreme effect, it could either propel Donald Trump further to be the lead in the polls, which he is already, to potentially secure the Republican nomination, or it could, in the end, work out hampering that effort of his to once again become the candidate, because more and more Republicans, there's also a camp that sees these mounting scandals as potentially one scandal too many. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing everybody, his party, rallying around him, particularly those who are elected into office. The Speaker of the House, a Republican, McCarthy, coming out criticizing this very indictment, and actually saying that he would instruct committees of Congress to look into potential actions going on in relation to that. So this, what he says, amounts to him openly criticizing the judiciary. And this is a country where there's a separation of power. So this raises question marks how far Donald Trump undermining people's faith in how the law of the land is being put into action will go, and how this will pan out for his chances to potentially secure the nomination again in 2024.
As you say, Michaela, this indictment could really help or hinder Donald Trump's chances going forward. We've seen some of his statement. He's calling this a political persecution and a witch hunt. How do you read his comments? What do you think his strategy is going to be going forward?
Well, in a way, he's sticking with the strategy he always had. He takes any kind of criticism as a witch hunt against him. He calls this historic. If you've ever been to a Trump rally, you have no doubt anymore that there are people, and there are many people, who will follow him no matter what, even if he's indicted, even if he was put into prison. So he is portraying himself as something of a political martyr here already. And, you know, this all could amount to nothing. this, it could be that these charges are dropped in the end. But the damage already is done in the sense of, once again, instigating, throwing question marks over how democracy functions in the country. That this whole debate is being buoyed once again through this, and this is the least of the potential charges he could face. There are 2 more cases, a federal investigation over his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, and there's also in Georgia where he called for the Secretary of State to find him those votes. There's also an investigation that could amount to a court case. So this is just the beginning of an ever-widening crisis that could see him come on top again as the nominee, or could sink his chances for 2024. But he's, as he has been for decades, willing to risk it all.
That was DW correspondent Michaela Kufner in Washington there. Michaela, thank you for your analysis.